On November 2nd, 2007, the Zeitgeist Gallery had an opening reception for this exhibit of Day of the Dead. This is the altar that I created for this show. Day of the Dead is celebrated on November 2nd in Mexico and throughout the United States. The people put an altar in their home. Sometimes indigenous people have the altar in their home all year long, but on November 2nd, they take all the items of the person they're honoring to the gravesite, and there they bring the favorite food of the deceased, the favorite music, and sort of celebrate with the deceased, kind of proving that the spirit is still with the loved ones. My altar is it was my door to my front door that was broken into, and rather than throw it out, like most artists, I saw art potential in it, so I didn't throw it out. And then later I had it cut like a retablo, this little house shape. And on my altar this year, I am honoring victims of war and victims of all wars, not just this one, but all of them. And our soldiers, whether it's a good war or a bad war or a crazy war or whatever, we still have to remember the young people that go and die for what they believe is the right thing. And so I wish to honor all of the ones who have died in the war. In Day of the Dead, we always use sugar skulls and papel picado, which I have over there, and also candles, a lot of candles. Each burning candle represents a soul. And here I have the tanks coming from one direction and helicopters and airplanes. And I used little rows of soldiers along here, and then skulls and fires and explosions on the top. The two soldiers are one on each side. This one keeps wanting to run away. And I had a Palestinian bandana, and I kind of got the idea to make this into papel picado and the American flag. It could be a struggle, or it could be an embrace for peace. The two cards are from the Loteria. And I have Mexican chocolate, sage, cinnamon, beans and corn, and hot peppers. Always hot peppers. On this other side, I used the images for immigration, not the current day immigration, but for all the people that came long before, like my grandmother, my paternal grandmother came in 1910. She simply crossed the border because she just lived on the other side of Texas, on the other side of the border. At that time, you could just walk across. This represents the Rio Grande. The passport represents the broken promises. And she, on this side, I have a lot of their culture that they keep in Mexico, and then they bring it back. They bring it into the U.S. and continue the same culture here. They came mostly to work in the railroads, the mines, and the fields. And they were more interested in working than they were in acquiring land. In the beginning, the Mexicans were here, were already in many parts of the United States and Texas and New Mexico, Arizona. And it's strange because if you happen to have settled in the Arizona area, then you're considered indigenous. But if you settled in the Midwest, you're Chicano or Mexican immigrant. And the land was taken after the Spanish conquest under the Spanish crown. Later, they made laws to take away the land, and during the U.S.-Mexican War, then the laws were more explicit, and so many of the natives lost their land. What else? I have a lot of detail. Like here, I have the pyramids from our indigenous culture. Goes way back to thousands and thousands of years ago. And in the U.S., we've been here for thousands of years as well. And we always identified our homeland. For example, my grandmother and my father, who was only 12 when he crossed the border, for them, home was Mexico. For me, home was Texas, because that's where I came from, and I didn't know Mexico. From now I consider myself just from Mother Earth. That covers everything. These are called milagros. And if you have these are offerings that you take to the church when you're sick with, like, say, a broken arm or a broken leg or a broken heart. You offer it to the church. I turned everything into spirits, like Lady Guadalupe is a spirit here. The dancers are spirits, and all of the Chicanos and Mexican Americans and Mexicans are all little skeletons. The dead rose is like something dead also. On top, I took little trucks and cut them in half and put people in them. And then I put 2 milagro palm trees, but then the shades and shadows, so that it goes way back. The church, that's also called a retablo, and it's made out of tin, and the little glass door broke, so I decided to put skeletons in there, and because it was a church, I put a pope or bishop or something in there, and then a lot of skulls. Because it's a mixture of indigenous and Roman Catholic images, the Day of the Dead. Let me see, what else can I say? I needed something to hold the frame together, so I designed the 2 skeletons holding the frame. I was hoping that it would turn out to be more like a frame. As it turned out, it works, but it's kind of gets in the way. But that one represents the children of migrant workers. And this one, the children of plain soldier of the military. Then there I have, those are called something else, but I couldn't find any marigolds, so I used those. Water is in there. Water is to quench the thirst of the spirit. Air is the nourishment and movement. And food is for the, also the nourishment, the aroma of the food for the spirits. And also to remember that they're always with us, that they've never really left us. They're always around us. And we can have faith in that.